Hello and welcome. This is Creeper World IXE, another entry in the Creeper World series. If you have heard of that one, I'm impressed because it's very niche. But overall, I have enjoyed the previous Creeper World games quite a bit. And I played a little bit of the story, but mostly just to see whether this would be suitable for me to upload this. If you don't know anything about the Creeper World series, basically, you're kind of battling sentient water of sorts. I'm actually not entirely sure about the background history or lore, but the short version is that the creeper, the sentient water aforementioned, is basically just hunting down every living being just across the universe. Somehow. I'm actually not entirely sure how they can travel across planets, but they certainly have found a way. Anyways, let's get stuck into the story. It is not enough to do what... Oh, what? It is not enough that we do our best. Sometimes we must do what is required.
For longer than history, two great civilizations shared their galaxy in peace. One was formed from flesh, the other from mineral. Both achieved fantastic greatness. Neither wanted from the other. Each found what they needed on separate worlds as they walked amongst the stars as gods, and so it was. Until, as is the way with all things, the ending came. Without warning, cause, or reason, the mineral took from the flesh 1,000 worlds. 1 trillion lives were erased from existence in one day. Each world was so utterly erased that no lives remained, except for one small child, whose life hung by a thread.
Huh. Thor's Hammer. Remote mining world. Year 1960. Cataclysm day. Hey Kami, did you see the emergency message from the ODN? Something about an attack? Yeah, wait. Hold. Orbital sensors show something incoming. By the gods, what is that? It's releasing some sort of fluid that's destroying everything. Mining cannons are trying to fight it off. They can't hold it. Have a bot move our sun to a pod now. Done. Dax, what is happening, Dax? They get eaten. Or something. On that day, at that moment, the fate of the universe hung in the balance. Rift disturbance detected. My gods, battle stations! Life signs? One life sign detected. It's small, weak, likely an infant. It is in a pod and the substance will likely engulf it shortly. Not on my marching won't. Deploy ships. Move to interface. Hold down the right mouse button to move around or use WASD. Basically it's just a tutorial. Zoom in and out, wave the scroll wheel or Q and E. Shocked and confused, the brave crew led by Captain Abraxas fought against the unknown to save the child. Click a ship to select, then click to move. Avoid contact with the creeper. Alright. Can move these. Left click and drag to paint an area to terraform, basically digging through this material as long as the big ship is in reach. Wait for the dig to complete. Alrighty. A passage to the pod is open. Rift packets preparing for dispatch. Excellent job, crew. Keep the path from us to the pod open. We have to keep any of that destructive fluid pushed back so our rift packets can dispatch. As soon as the pod is safe, jump us out of here. ODN reports hundreds of other worlds have been hit. Let's save what we can. Alright, if the rift packets are getting to the pod, and this is kind of how you collect things. The child has been rescued, rifting out. Leaving the battleships behind. 25 years later. We've arrived, and all systems are functional. Excellent. Analysis. There's a devastated planet here as expected, and IXE cores are detected. Prepare to engage. Alright, and this is kind of like our selection screen. It's a bit of a strange one because, you know, it feels like I'm circling around where we're going to be landing, but I think this is more like, this is like the sun, I guess. Then we click on the planet, and then, eventually, the interface opens. It takes a long time for some reason, and we start at the beginnings. Play. Alrighty, zoom in and out, select the Apex ship. So basically, in the bottom here, we have our current ability to deploy various ships and uses. So it tells me to deploy the Apex ship. Anywhere where there's enough space, I can normally deploy it. However, for the tutorial's sake, we have to specifically deploy it right here. So we do that. Unpause the mission. So in the top right, you can see, well, the speed thingies. I actually haven't figured out whether there's like any hotkeys I could use instead of having to click on this, but basically we unpause by clicking the pause symbol, and then we get a little bit more story. Status report. You know, Vara should be the one handling the tactical analysis. Odeon gave him his own command. Besides, the best science and command officers in the fleet can handle things. I just miss Vara. As expected, we are marooned in the system until we take out the IXE core. The IXE core is as good as destroyed. Prepare to engage. Alrighty, then we deploy our little battleship that helps us fight off the creeper here. Deploy the defender. Then we can also move the defender around as we want or need it to be. And basically, there's just this blue stuff. This is our enemy. As I said, apparently it's minerals, which I wasn't actually aware of until now. And we can move the defender if we want to. Eliminate the creeper pool. This is our current objective. There's also various other materials that the game will introduce to us. This is lava here. There's a bunch of curcium, which is effectively more or less energy. There is water down here, and now we are supposed to dig through. So we do exactly that. And there's more creeper to be demolished there. Excellent job. A passage to the sublevel has been opened. Moving in. There is creeper in the sublevel. Exercise caution. I'll scan the IXE core while you move us closer. Alrighty. Move downward and dig your way to the emitter. Open the TERP controls near the top right to access TERP settings. TERP is terraform stuff, I guess. So we can increase the size of how much we dig. 7 honestly is kind of a convenient thing. And then we can keep. I actually don't know what keep does. We can cancel the stuff. I believe that you can also just hold right click for cancelling as well, for what it's worth. Anyways, and that's our TERP controls, I guess. So we move in. So there are also like tutorial videos that you can look at. I'm not going to worry about these. They're actually, let me be honest, I really like the Creeper World series overall, but their UI could use a bit of a... Let's put it this way, everything just feels very off. There's like gigantic pixels here, much smaller pixels on the boat. The UI has different pixels again, and it feels all over the place. And despite that, I think this is actually quite a fascinating little game. So, we deploy this nullifier, it is called. The ship is slowly going to build it, and once it's built, it is supplying it with energy. As long as we have enough energy, I guess. And eventually this nullifier is going to charge up all the way. And in order for the nullifier to do anything, we need to move it close enough to one of these emitters or other structures that we want to, you know, nullify. So we move it around. We can move basically everything around, even through small corridors. It's kind of a neat little effect on how basically the ships get deleted into individual pixels and then you go through. And we also have to move this close enough that it stays in range of the emitter for long enough to actually destroy it. And there it is. emitter destroyed. There's a bunch more creeper around, but as long as there's no emitter that emits creeper, for the most part it is relatively harmless. So there's the IXE core, and we have to dig our path through this. This is going to be our general mission in order to, well, do things in these missions. Get the IXE cores, which means basically we need to have a clear path that is available, that is not going through creeper in order to collect them, more or less. And there it is. IXE cores destroyed. Onward. And we jump out of the mission. There is a kind of a little summary of the mission. There's people who have really fast times in it. It's basically a little leaderboard. And we just go on to the next mission. So, and that's kind of more or less the entire game structure. We're gonna get more and more ships, basically. And I believe this thing over here indicates that this is something we have conquered already. I don't know if there's anything else going to be in this, but in the meantime, we can click on the center in order to jump to the next solar system, I guess. We are on Chero. Now we go to Alcans, or Alcens. I don't know how to pronounce these words. Jump complete, and the scans indicate the IXE have ravaged the system. I'm not surprised. The IXE are machines with nothing more than their calculating imperatives. They destroyed my world along with thousands of others. So we must destroy them. Yep, and the cycle of hate continues, or something like that. Purpose. Commander, the weapon systems provided by Odin have all been activated. I wish there were more. Perhaps more hardware will become available soon. I see this world has 2 info caches. We will make those a priority along with cleansing this world of this vermin. So yeah, we basically are very much against the creeper stuff. So, and this is also kind of where the game introduces you to various tools and information. So let's just kind of look at these things. This is a reactor. These are reactors. They generate energy. You can also build them. I honestly haven't entirely figured out what energy even means or exactly is used for. Like, I know they're useful, and you probably want to build them in order to generate more energy, but you do have a baseline of energy generation already, so it's generally sometimes fine not having them. But I think presumably everything just builds faster if you do have reactors. Then the game also introduces us to a variety of different materials. We have land, which we can dig through. We have wood, which can burn or react with other materials for what it's worth, including getting burnt. This is acid. It dissolves metal, which is notably a thing where here, metal, you cannot normally dig through. If I try to dig or activate the dig, it just doesn't let me. You can also hold middle mouse button in order to undo the dig command, which is what I'm currently doing here. And basically, if we want to get through this portion here specifically, we would need to effectively let the acid go through, and effectively these entire maps are just like little puzzles all over the place, which is kind of neat. This is wood. It burns if sets on fire. Well, I guess I just said that. This is lava. It harms ships and melts metal. It starts fires in turn to stone. Oh, it turns to stone when touching water. So basically, if we drain this water pool here, which apparently is also ice on top, we can turn this lava to stone if we want to. There's a bunch of these little emitters, which predictably emit creeps, or creep, and we kind of want to deal with them. There's various IXE cores around here that we also want to collect, and that's kind of more or less going to be our entire mission. And here, we actually have full freedom on where we want to land. If I want to place my mothership right here next to this creeper in order to start down here for some reason, I can do that. And I actually might do that. Because one of my strategies that I like to employ in previous Creeper World games was literally like immediately starting next to one of these creeper emitters and just demolish them right off the bat. Generally speaking, the game kind of expects you to be a bit more reasonable and less aggressive, I would think, but I'm actually not sure. Anyways, let's immediately go ahead and destroy this thing. So I'm going to deploy the mothership and one of these nullifiers immediately, and then I don't want to build more, because the more stuff you build simultaneously, the slower stuff builds by itself, which, you know, is reasonably predictable, I guess. Then I also want to build some attack ships that can attack the creeper. And this thing emits stuff slowly enough that I guess we're not exactly in any danger here. I can also build my own reactors for energy generation, I suppose. These reactors need to be attached to solid land in some capacity, otherwise you cannot use them. Then we're gonna dig through here, so we can get to the surface. And in the meantime, I can build more nullifier for when we get to those. And we're also going to move our attack ships over here. You can pause basically at any time if you want to just take your time. You can also speed up time, and you can also slow down time for what it's worth. Moving these guys over here. Actually, we can just leave here. Because I want to, of course, have this thing destroy the emitter. And then we can also start digging through here. What we also want to do is we want to make sure the fire here does not reach these guys, because once these things are destroyed, the pre-placed ones, I don't think we can replace them anymore. And again, if the fire destroys these things, they are just going to, well, get destroyed. We're actually gonna see this if we just let this burn here. This guy is not gonna be attached to anything anymore and explode consequently. Alright, moving the attack ship a little bit closer. It's of course an opportunity cost to move closer into various things, because while your ships are moving, they cannot actually fire at anything. So then I want to move these guys over here, and with a bit of luck we might be fast enough to deal with the creeper over there. I'm also going to move my mothership back. It's called the Apex, by the way. Also, by the way, these little defender ships, they do require energy to shoot, so they will not shoot indefinitely. And this is these little red pellets that the ship is moving over. As you can see, the acid managed to run through. It's destroying all the metal here, as the game has indicated previously. And we kind of want to dig our way through here, so we can get to this emitter, so it stops emitting more creeper. Generally speaking, from what I can tell, ships start digging from the closest point where they are at, and then just dig outwards. So if you want to specifically dig a small tunnel, it might be worthwhile to reduce the size of your digging apparatus thingy. Also, the mothership might not be in reach of being able to attack efficiently, so move it slightly closer. We build a new emitter because the previous one has been used up, and I hope this creeper's gonna be in range of our nullifier here. We've already activated this IXE core, this one, and this one. There's only one remaining here. I think we actually might be able to just go through here. As long as this thing does not bounce into the creeper too much. Well, let's see if this is gonna be sufficient, because our objective is to, you know, destroy the core so we can jump again. But there's a kind of a secondary objective for the info caches in this one here, I suppose. Alrighty. One objective complete, and the second objective for the info caches commences for us now. So I'm going to... I was thinking of maybe moving one of the attackers over to the east side, starting to deal with this guy. But generally speaking, what I've found in these games, it's better to focus fire your energy all on one side, so you can destroy these creepers or any enemies in the way with as much firepower as possible, because the quicker you take each individual enemy out, the less stuff they can emit. And here, this is gonna take a while actually for us to dig through the creeper, while this guy's just kind of filling up the water over here, but that's okay, we don't have to worry about that for a while. So I'm gonna actually speed up time here a little bit. Also, by the way, if our ships are in the middle of the creeper, we actually might not be able to do this. We might not be strong enough. Oh! I got an attack ship somewhere, I kind of missed that part. Whoops. So I think this is our energy or power overall, so we actually gain power from these generators. As I put that down, it required a bunch of power. So this is a gunship. The gunship has both a gun, like the little guys, but also shoots these rockets. And these rockets always go to the closest thing in range that has like the highest density of creeper. So even if it has to go like around 7 corners to get to the most dense location of creeper, it will do that, which is actually kind of oddly convenient. And it appears that with this gunship here, we now have enough firepower to punch through this and eventually get to this creeper emitter here. Now this thing requires a bit of repairing, which I think just happens over time as long as it's outside of the creeper or not getting damaged sufficiently. There it is. And then we immediately start moving over here, because we want to take out these guys. We can leave one guy behind that can take out the remainder of the creeper over here. That is alright. And we don't need another nullifier, but if I place 2, then I can be a bit more reckless with the other one, I guess. And from what I can tell, the mothership also provides energy to these guys, like, consistently, so they are not usually going to run out as long as there's at least some path that does not reach through creeper to replenish the ammunition on these guys. So we wanna move this guy further to the right, because here in the bottom right you can see, if I mouse over the creeper, how much creeper there is in the individual tiles. It is of course more dense, with 16 units of creeper per, well, tile towards the emitter, and then it just kind of spreads out from there. Here it is very shallow, which means our regular ship's cannons have no trouble just kind of destroying it. And this guy is just kind of doing his best job to just destroy the most amount of creeper. Interestingly enough, I believe in later missions the mothership also gets these rockets, so I actually was not aware that we don't get these until a bit later. Moving the mothership a bit closer, or the apex as it is called. Giving us a bit of a more clear line of sight. So the creeper is almost destroyed here. You can be like very pedantic and remove every little bit of creeper from the entire area if you really want to. And there is a statistic as well if you care about destroying all the creeper in order to do so. But for the most part I'm just not too worried about it. Info cache retrieved. Leah. Analysis. This region of the galaxy was known for its computational sophistication. This info cache appears to be filled with locally trained AI networks. Okay. Moving on. By the way, down here we have bedrock. Cannot dig apparently. We have... This is also bedrock. Oh, this is rock and bedrock. I see. Can't normally dig through these anyways, just in case you were curious what these lower layers were. Up here, this is just rock we cannot dig through. What I could have actually theoretically done is I could have dug like a channel for the lava to go through. Because I believe... in the bottom right we can see... Physics liquid, the lava, cannot dig, does not block ships, does not block movement, does not block weapons, but it damages ships. I don't know actually if it damages creeper, given the opportunity. Anyways, we're about to be done here. Retrieve the last info cache. And destroy all creeper emitters. It says IXE course destroyed, but we already did that earlier. And just because I might as well... Oh, there it is. Info cache analysis. This world must have been once a sight to behold. This info cache contains mostly architectural diagrams for a vast number of structures. Alright, this once was a city. And then the minerals attacked. Alrighty, let's hop out of here, I guess. And we go over to Procy. I'm detecting a world that looks like a generic IXE casualty. It no doubt has an IXE presence. IXE to destroy? You don't have to tell me twice. This guy is really happy to go to war with these things. Procyon. Alrighty. I think we're gonna do one more mission, then that's gonna be that for introductory for here. So, this is unexpected, evidently. There was a minor bump when rifting in. Ah, I see why. Strange. I see it too. There's a jettisoned tech module here embedded in the rock. It must have come from an Apex ship that was taking severe damage. I concur. But what Apex ship? I thought we were the first to return to this region of space. In any case, there is another troubling issue in this world. I detect material that is emitting creeper. This must be the breeder that we were warned about. Alright, we will hit it hard and purge the creep from it. Then we can take out the AIXE course and liberate this world. Alrighty, so this is breeder land. So the short version about this kind of type of land is that it just reproduces creeper that is already on it. So that functionally means if we manage to remove all of the creeper from it, it will no longer be able to produce any more. Let's see, you can build shields here to delay the creeper from escaping. Review the video to help on shields for how to build. Basically, in order to build shields, you hold shift and then draw in order to build. Basically, this kind of allows you to make like your own kind of wall or building, if you will. And that helps you quite a bit. Alrighty, so we wanted to purge the creeper from the breeder land as quick as we can. So I think my strategy is going to be to just build these two on pause, and then we wait until they're built. I don't know if it's clever to try and build both of them immediately, but this may or may not just work. Also, this guy's just too close, apparently. Then we also want to have more energy to work with. Building them a bit out of the way. This guy is recovered, and we will also be able to dig into here. This is the tech module that they were just kind of mentioning that was jettisoned earlier. We actually might need to go and collect that before I can reasonably keep up with the creeper production here. So these battleships here are just gonna barely keep that stuff in check, I guess. Let's see, this is damageable land, so the creeper actually just digs through it just naturally by itself. Although it does appear to get absorbed as it is digging through, which is interesting. We are also digging very, very slowly, so I guess this also requires quite a bit of energy, because I'm also simultaneously building these reactors that are gathering energy. So what I should do is I should cancel the dig command for now. And also, our ship is automatically collecting curcum in order to regain energy more quickly and efficiently, which is definitely helping. Alright, now we can dig through. Because we should also be digging at a decent pace now. Oh, we also have this thing, apparently. This is a digger. It does exactly what is standing on the tin. It can dig through structures reasonably efficiently, which means we can actually move our mothership over here once it is done, so we can leave this guy to dig and have our mothership instead go and protect over here. I should have built the shields like the game instructed me, because this was a decent density of creeper that just kind of now has intruded onto this space. It's going to take even longer to destroy this breeder land. In the meantime, we have an emitter that is fixed, aka it doesn't move. I believe that's what it fixed emitter means. And it is just emitting a lot of creeper through here. In fact, there is more breeder land over here that also just keeps feeding more breeder land through this little channel here, I think. So I think we'll have to destroy this thing in order to fully remove that part, it appears. Alrighty, We're gonna send our mothership a bit lower, so we start digging, I guess, through here. So we can get through. There's more breeder land over here that seems to just keep emitting more creeper as well, just slowly running down the channel. It's not much. It's a very tiny amount, apparently, based on the color anyways. But it is, well, still a decent amount, I guess. Alrighty, we can now move through here. Wait until this digger does this stuff, I guess. Move you a bit closer so you can hit the more creeper dense locations with your rockets. Sir, the tech module contained the matrix for a gunship. I've added it to our inventory, and it can be built on your command. For a region of space that should be devoid of ODN technology, this is very odd. I don't know what ODN stands for. Righty. We're gonna build another gunship, which is definitely what we need right here. Also, our mothership is getting damaged, so maybe I should move it a little bit further away. We'll move this guy down here, so we can start building shields and digging, I guess. I'm gonna build a shield here, and I guess here. I don't know if this will have any value for us. But this pocket of creeper here has been depleted, so we don't have to worry about that part anymore. Move this a little bit out of the creeper things. And we're slowly managing to remove creeper from the bottom up here. Slowly. I'm gonna send one of our little gunships down here so it can remove this creeper stuff. And I'm going to start trying to build a shield here. Emphasis on try. Because I would like for this place to stop getting more materials. So it stops basically producing creeper for either side. Alright, it looks like we have managed to destroy all the creeper on the breeder land over there. Let us start moving down here. Digging up a little bit of a space for our mothership to land. Moving this guy over here. You can move. And as soon as we destroy most of the breeder land here, I think we're gonna be fine on this side. Or the creeper from the breeder land. There appears to be a tiny bit that managed to get up there, so this might multiply here. Oh, this guy actually can go through this channel as well. That's kind of funny. I didn't even think about that. Anyways, I should have built nullifiers a while ago. I just forgot about that part. We can, of course, dig our way through here, move the nullifier over. And then we want to probably just dig a channel through here so we can send our attack ships to take care of the creeper on the breeder land over there so it does not replicate itself any further. This thing is about to be destroyed. It emits a very small amount of creeper, it appears. Gonna move this gunship down here so it starts cleaning out the more creeper dense areas, I guess. You already either took care of it or it was not an issue. Anyways, gonna move you over here. So you start helping with the creeper down below, and the mothership is not currently attacking anything, realistically. So, actually just gonna move it over here to deal with the... Oh, I can't. Not enough space. Moving the digger over here, I guess. And moving this guy here. So hopefully we'll take care of the breeder land creeper sometime soon. Digging through here so we have a more clear line of sight against it for our more direct cannon attacks, or well, gun attacks really. Then we just need to clean up this lower portion here. This is basically just creeper that is like... It functionally behaves a lot like water, realistically. It basically just expands from wherever it is. I guess water is not necessarily a good comparison, because you can't really easily compress water. So it's more like a gas form, I guess, because it starts from one spot and just kind of compresses and expands depending on how dense the area is inhabited by this stuff. Right, you can do this. Let's move you over here. No, actually they are about to be done here. Very nice. Moving the mothership down here. You can actually move stuff into the creeper if you really want to. Most of the time it's not particularly advisable unless you already have a good grasp on having deleted or handling it in some meaningful way. And there it is. Destroying the IXE cores. And that's the mission complete. And our next mission will be over on Mintaka. I guess we spin around the local sun in order to get to the next system. I actually have no idea how this stuff works conceptually. It was really confusing how the mission select works, because there seems to be only one planet at a time that we subsequently want to liberate. So this interface was very confusing to me initially. Sir, I detect a residual rift signature. It is faint but present. No more than 10 years old. So some ship has been here before us. With each jump we are getting closer to its path. And that's that. Creeper World. If you're interested in seeing more, let me know one way or another. Because I kind of like this game. It's one of those games where you can just start a mission and maybe chip away for it 10, 15, 20 minutes, or maybe even a little bit longer depending on the complexity of it, and then just kind of go and do something else afterwards. It's kind of the perfect game to just play a little bit here and there, just do another mission, maybe just find a bit more about the lore and story if you are interested in that. And there's that. Have a nice day and good night. Bye-bye.